In September 1986, Akron, Ohio, became the scene of a crime that shocked the community. Three teenage boys, 19-year-old Richard Cooey, 17-year-old Clinton Dickens, and Kenneth Hornet Jr. were hanging out near a highway bridge. Bored and restless, they picked up heavy rocks and began hurling them at cars driving below. Most cars sped away, shaken by the sudden crashes. But one rock struck a vehicle carrying two young women, 21-year-old Wendy Alfredo and 20-year-old Dawn McCreary. When the car pulled over, the boys rushed down from the bridge. To Wendy and Dawn, it seemed like they wanted to help. They offered to drive the women to a phone, since this was 1986, long before cell phones were common. At first, the offer appeared genuine. The women were able to call for help. But when they asked to be taken back to their car, the boys refused. Instead, they robbed Wendy and Dawn, then forced them into a car and drove them far away to a deserted field. There, Richard Cooey and Clinton Dickens subjected the women to hours of abuse. Kenneth Hornet eventually walked away, leaving the other two behind. During the attack, Richard made a mistake. He said Clinton's name out loud in front of the women. Now Wendy and Dawn knew the identity of at least one attacker. Afraid of being caught, Clinton decided the women couldn't be allowed to live. Richard agreed. That night, both women were murdered. The investigation moved quickly. Evidence and confessions soon led police to all three boys. Richard Cooey, the oldest, was sentenced to death. Clinton Dickens, only 17 at the time, avoided the death penalty because of his age but received life in prison. Kenneth Hornet Jr., who had walked away earlier, served just 1 year behind bars. Many felt that punishment was far too light. Richard Cooey spent more than 20 years on death row. His lawyers filed appeal after appeal, arguing that the death sentence was unfair. Later, they claimed his obesity would make lethal injection cruel. The courts rejected these arguments. In 2008, Richard Cooey was executed at age 41. He showed little remorse in his final moments. Clinton Dickens remains in prison. Because he was under 18 during the crime, he cannot be executed, but he may one day face parole. Kenneth Hornet has long been free, his role remembered but lightly punished. It is easy to focus on the criminals, but the heart of this story belongs to the victims. Wendy Alfredo, 21, was bright, kind, and just beginning her adult life. Dawn McCreary, 20, was known for her warmth and her smile. Both women had dreams and futures stolen from them that night. Their families have carried that loss ever since. This tragedy began with what seemed like a thoughtless prank, throwing rocks from a bridge. But it spiraled into robbery, abuse, and murder. Richard Cooey's execution closed one chapter. Clinton Dickens remains behind bars. Kenneth Hornet lives free. But Wendy Alfredo and Dawn McCreary never had the chance to live out their lives. Their story is a lasting reminder of how quickly reckless choices can turn into lasting horror, and how justice, even when carried out, can never undo the loss of innocent lives.